It's time for The Scraphouse with Austen Lane and Kasey Kuhrts on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, Scraphouse, we are live on a Wednesday. Jacksonville to Las Vegas, Nevada. Vegas, Austin is back in full effect. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, man? Yeah, just chilling in Vegas. Finishing up my fight camp and everything. Had all the medicals today and going to get some sparring in tomorrow. So saw some guys at the PI today. They're excited to see me back and everything and start punching me in the face again. So yeah, man, everything's good over here. The flight was pretty painless, set aside from watching my Milwaukee Brewers crumble. As is tradition, it seems like in Milwaukee when the playoffs are on the line. So hopefully they can turn things around tonight. But besides that, man, yeah, everything's going good. What about you? How you doing?
Hey, man, we're doing it. We're thriving. We're doing the best we can. There's a lot to talk about in wrestling, but I'm going to waste more time and ask you, are you a first-class flyer? Are you a...
No. Never.
Just regular?
Never flew first class my entire life, I don't think.
Never once?
I don't think I've ever flown first class. And this is even like when NFL teams brought me out and everything, like for like workouts. I don't think I've ever flown first class. No, man, come on, dude. I'm a man of the people. But I will say this much. Sat next to some olds, okay, which is fine.
Sure, got to.
Austin loves the olds.
And the olds love you.
And the olds love me too, right? But definitely a little entitlement that I wasn't feeling to the point where I had the aisle, which I'm never a fan of because, you know, elbows, knees getting hit, but it was Southwest, right? So it's like first come, first serve.
You're flying Southwest?
This is the UFC. The UFC put me on Southwest. So I'm on Southwest. I had like boarding group C. So, dude, I'm at the back of the depth chart, right? So I'm walking on. And, you know, immediately the stewardess sees me. She's like, oh, we need to get your exit row. I'm like, oh, I appreciate it if there's something available. And lo and behold, there was. There was an elderly, but an older couple that were in the exit row sitting next to each other. And then the aisle was open. So I'm like, all right, you know, let's go ahead and get me right next to these people and we'll be good to go. And you could kind of tell when I sat down that they weren't feeling it. Sure. The gentleman was sitting next to me in the middle. And, you know, like when you kind of sit down, you can kind of sense like people are a little annoyed because I sit down and the guy just goes, and I'm like, dude, you're in the exit row. And like, you're probably 80 years old and you're 5'0". So I don't want to hear it, really, you know?
Absolutely.
So put the headphones on, totally space this dude out, and it was all good. But then when we get up, you know, obviously I'm not going to like stand in the aisle when the plane's landing because once again, 6'6", right? Yeah. Don't want to get people's way. When it's my turn to get in the aisle, I'll get in the aisle. And the dude thought, well, hey, no, that's not how it works because I'm 80 years old and I have entitlement. So he's like, you mind if you get in the aisle so I can get my stuff? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, we can kind of wait. He's like, no, I'd rather get right now. I'm like, okay. So then I had to get out of my seat, get in the aisle. And then, of course, I get bullied back. So now, like, I'm behind where, it's just, dude, it's just one of the stories of flying. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, man, I feel like the elderly and I feel like entitlement is going to ruin us all one day. But what are you going to do?
The elderly and entitlement. All right.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Just broke that pen. Catch Austen Lane on Southwest next time you're flying Southwest. He may be in the middle seat somewhere near you. All right.
Want to get away? I sure do.
I want to get off of this plane, ideally. That's where I'm trying to go. All right, let's get into it. I say we start with AEW since we usually do it last.
Yeah, I like that, man. Change it up a little bit.
It was a somewhat bigger night. AEW Grand Slam, technically, they did a little bit of it on Saturday as well. But hey, we're all set. We're going to talk about Wednesday.
We'll talk about Wednesday.
The main installment of AEW, as you will. And overall, I thought it was a pretty decent show. I think they did right by how they started it. They start with Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, who, of course, we weren't really sure at the time if that match was even going to happen, if Bryan Danielson was going to show up. We were here doing the show. I get home, Amanda has it on, and I'm like, oh, what'd they start with? Like, I had no clue what was happening. I was like, all right, I'll just you know, I have it on record, I'll catch it. She was like, oh, because she's a big Bryan Danielson Brie Bella fan. It's like she watched the show and all that stuff. She's like, yeah, it was Bryan. I was like, what do you mean it's Bryan? She's like, yeah, Bryan won. I was like, what? In the first 20 minutes of the show? And so I thought it was smart to start with that because I don't know if you're keeping people around for that, if you wanted to save it till the end. So I think that part of it was smart. The match itself, when I went back and watched it, it was okay. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, very rarely are you going to have your world champion open the show up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is more of when you have a match, you're only as good as the challenger is going to allow you to be. And nothing against Nigel McGuinness because the guy has his own track record if you followed his career, which I really haven't. So I wasn't really familiar with him. But I think from the casual audience, a lot of people aren't really familiar with his work. So it did make sense to have that opening, opening the whole show because Bryan Danielson's a big name. Nigel, maybe not so much, but hey, maybe you're watching The Big Bang Theory, whatever was on before that, Modern Family.
Oh, yeah.
And you see Bryan Danielson coming on. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll stay and watch this. So I thought overall it was smart booking. It was smart to lead it off with. And, I'm not going to hate on the match. I was kind of pleasantly surprised with how, good Nigel McGuinness was because, once again, I'm not sure when's the last time he's actually wrestled.
13 years, I believe.
Yeah, dude. So there you go, man. And I think the highlight for me was when he's in the corner doing the headstand thing and the counters. Like, yeah, it was a little slow and methodical, but it also kind of showcased some good core strength. So overall, it was a good match. You could tell these guys have had history. They've worked together a lot in the past. And, I think it kind of, as Brent would say, it kind of puts the bow now on that story, if you will.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I think also there's a challenge in there's only so much you can do when the whole planet knows who's winning. Because there was no scenario where Bryan Danielson was dropping it right there.
Without a doubt.
Now, there could have been a little bit of scenario that he could have dropped it to Christian Cage if Christian Cage could have had his pen. All right. So that was one of the most foul things I think. That was just terrible. No?
Yeah. No. That. Like, I think I'm kind of breaking up a little bit here. Hopefully you can still hear me.
I can.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal, Kasey. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, you're good. You're here. Oh, you were. Now you're gone. And now you're back.
Yeah. There we go. Now we're there. Okay,
yeah.
This Palm's Wi-Fi, man's been kind of shoddy for whatever reason.
You're
It
cooking
went fine
now.
this morning.
You're cooking.
But yeah, man, I wasn't a big fan of all that. Like when you have the opportunity to cash in and you have all the power, like you got to present it as such, right? And you kind of got to be that guy. And I just felt like it was kind of a wasted opportunity.
Oh, it definitely was. And I don't understand how that's the best thing you come up with. I understand Christian Cage coming out. I get it, like the execution. 5 or 6 different things could have happened that would have been better. One, he could have made his way to the ring. One, he couldn't. The story didn't have to end with a pen getting stolen, which is just ridiculous in this day and age. That's all I'm saying. And that part of it, was foul. That when I left it, I was like, okay, I'm fine with how this was executed with Danielson in the match. And then this part, I'm just like, really? Like, this is the best we could come up with. Their AEW creative, but that's cool. That's fine. Christian Cage will get his chance. I'm assuming he'll get his pen back. And we'll find out about that as we go. Hook, Ryder Strong, the next match. I say this every time we talk about Hook. I like Hook.
Yeah.
I want more from, I guess, story and stuff with Hook because he's good.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, Kasey. And I think I was very curious about this match because Roderick Strong is a very technical wrestler. And I feel like his style isn't suited for everybody because it's more, it's not necessarily all these flips and crazy theatrics like you get with like a Will Ospreay or the Young Bucks. This is more of like technical wrestling, right? The holds, the counters, and things like that. And I was like, if you were to break down Hook's skill set of what he does well in the ring, like, I don't think he's necessarily like a technical wrestler. I feel like, it's more of like a power athletic kind of showcase, but like he does have grappling moves as well. So it's kind of hard to put Hook in a box of what he's actually like, what he does. But I thought this match kind of showcased like there is more to Hook than meets the eye. And I thought in terms of technical wrestling, I thought Hook kind of, held his own and kept up with Roderick Strong because Roderick Strong is one of the best technical wrestlers I feel like in wrestling. So props to Hook, for holding his own. And then really kind of a weird ending, he gets the dub and then they just retire the title.
I know, right?
Which I didn't see happening. I don't
know.
Yeah, I mean, and I get maybe AEW's got way too many titles, so okay, but like I felt like that was Hook's title. right? And like that was an opportunity to see Hook because his dad had that belt and everything. So like that was really the belt to showcase Hook. So now I'm not really sure like what the plan is after that.
Yeah, I thought that was questionable as well. If you're going to have a match for the belt, it's kind of a tough call to retire it as soon as it ends, because if the other dude wins, probably not retiring it. So like, that I don't love that part of the story. But it happened, and now I guess you do something else with Hook. I would be intrigued to see what that is. The problem is it's AEW, so there may not be a plan. And I hate to say it that way, but there might just not be a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So only time will tell. But one less title in AEW, again, probably not a bad thing, because there are a ton. It feels like everybody's got some sort of belt. Some people have two, and the crowd still boos them. So it's just it's just a little bit of debacle with all that. But nonetheless, the match was decent. I feel like at this point you're solid in this card so far. And then you get to the point that I just still can't get over. This started the boycott.
I can't believe we're even having a show today, Kasey, because Kasey threatened to boycott AEW after this match coming up. So
I'm not watching tonight. I refuse to watch because here's the thing. So I watched it back before, like when I got here. I got here early and watched the whole match back. The Young Bucks against Ospreay and Fletcher. I watched the whole thing back. And I still feel the same way. It was it just makes me so damn mad. So the part that was good was the whole match, because when the Bucks are doing their thing together, they looks really good, aesthetically pleasing. Fletcher and Ospreay are just incredible. There's no other way to put it.
Top notch.
To get to watch that match for only the price of YouTube TV or cable or whatever you have was a deal up until a certain point, because it was fantastic. I loved it. I loved every part of it.
Yeah.
And then, so this is where you lose me. You're like 90% done with the match. You could feel that it was coming to a close. And you have 3 straight spots on Matt Jackson. You have a TK driver. Kicks out. Sounds good.
Yes.
Coriolis, which I definitely thought it was over. Kicks out. And I was like, dude, at this point, I'm like, this sucks.
This guy's immortal right now.
He's just the greatest. He doesn't feel pain. He doesn't quit. So then you see
very Bray Wyatt-ish going on right now. Yes,
basically you see, and then you see Ospreay and Fletcher. They do it. They kind of like get together, and then Brainbuster off the turnbuckle. At this point, I'm pretty much assured he's dead. I thought he wasn't conscious.
Like, okay, well, I mean, you really driving the point home. We get it. Like, you're gonna get the titles, but like, you really wanted to drive the point home. Okay, here comes the 1, 2, 3. That's what I thought.
That's exactly. I thought this has to be it. This 3 in a row, like this. He's not kicking out again. He didn't kick out, in fairness to him, but stupid Nick Jackson comes out of nowhere, breaks it up. Which at least that part, I was like, all right, that actually makes sense. But he shouldn't have kicked out of the second one. You kick out of the first one, fine. Shouldn't have kicked out of the second one. So then I was like, all right, whatever. And then it just like you do the dumb screwdriver thing with what's his name with Fletcher. I forget his name now, which I understand. You called that, by the way, that's kind of how this match was going to go, that those two were going to kind of feud.
Which, okay, I guess.
That part, Ospreay gives the screwdriver to the ref, and then you have a classic, I guess, Young Bucks, kind of how they do it, and no kick out, and that's it. It's over.
And this damn screwdriver has gotten so much. Like, I feel like the screwdriver has been the cause of so many like factions breaking up.
Right.
I feel like it's been like the cause of like 3 people like 3 separate occasions where a screwdriver has caused people to break up, and it seems to be going down that road as well. Yeah, man. I mean, you already have the belt on Ospreay. Is Kyle Fletcher a household name? Probably not, but putting the belt on Kyle Fletcher would cement him as a household name, because I think he has the skills to back it up, Kasey. I can't say it enough. Like, obviously we know the Young Bucks in the ring are pretty good. Their gimmicks sometimes can kind of be whatever. I'm not sure. I think it was Nick Jackson had something woven into his hair. I don't even know what the style was for this match. I don't know what they're going for at all. But I'll say this about Ospreay, even the small things that he does looks cool.
Oh, for sure.
Like there was a point where he had like the elbow, like the flying elbow thing, and then he somehow like did that and then parlayed that to like a kip up to on his feet, and I'm just like, dude, even that's like a basic move for him, but even he makes the basic moves look good, and that to me is like the mark of any great wrestler, where it's all eyes on you, and no matter what you're doing, you're just kind of in awe of just how fluid and how smooth they are. And Will Ospreay, is to that point. And that's kind of the thing, Kasey, right? Where, yeah, he's a great singles competitor, probably one of the best like in-ring wrestlers in the world, if not the best. Mm-hmm. But like also as a tag team guy with Kyle Fletcher, like when you add another guy to the mix, like it's great as well, you know? So like I'm with you. I kind of wanted to see them have the belts and see what they could do, but now obviously it's going to be more of the Young Bucks, and it's going to be probably a Kyle Fletcher turning on Will Ospreay.
Dude, the boycott. Like I was sick of it. Dude, I was so mad. I was so annoyed. Like that was it. Yeah. It made too much sense. It was such a good match, and I feel like it's a reoccurring, I think, issue over multiple places where the lead up to the finish is 15 times better, and the finish has been underwhelming. I feel like we've seen multiple times over multiple different matches and companies and all kinds of stuff. So, but that one just really made me mad. There's no other way to put it. After this, I was pretty much out on the rest of the card, but
in case you stopped watching it,
it was on, but I was upset. I'm not going to lie to you. Mariah May retains over Yuka Sakazaki, I believe is how you say the last name there. Underwhelming?
I mean, I just think a little underwhelming because, like, the story behind. I mean,
well, yeah,
I really don't know much about Sakazaki. Like, she was fine, you know, and I'm sure she's a big star in her own right in Japan. But like, you know, we didn't really know much about her. I feel like the crowd didn't really know much about her. I mean, I did like Mariah May. Like this German suplex was brutal. And like, you know, she's I like Mariah May's kind of gimmick so far because, you know, she's like the damsel who's like very attractive, but then like she has like this mean side to her in the ring.
I like
so
the gimmick.
It's kind of like the Jekyll and Hyde. I do like that, you know, and I think like on the mic, like backstage, she's really good. But I just think she really needs a great feud now to kind of put her over a little more because I just didn't think it was this one, you know, especially for such a big event at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
I agree with all that. I just don't know who the feud will be with.
Well, it's going to be Willow now, right? Because Willow came in at the end, I think. Yeah.
That's a good point. Tony Storm's still missing in action, by the way.
Tony Storm's nowhere to be seen.
Which is fine. You know, that's like, okay. She had a good run. She will be back, but like
Britt Baker, I feel like is around, but like not. I don't know. It's going on with Britt Baker, and
I think she's supposed to appear tonight, but we'll see.
Yeah,
it's just that was. I mean, it was there. It happened.
Watch her get the Vici treatment because like maybe she's like ruffling some feathers and she's gonna get like squashed in 5 seconds.
Ain't got no Apollo Crews over there at AEW, right? I'll tell you that.
That's a good point.
I will say I was, again, upset and kind of moving throughout the house because this was right before a hurricane, and my parents were coming over to evacuate from Tallahassee. So I was kind of cleaning some stuff, or at least pretending to. Amanda, you know, I wanted her to think I was doing something. I did stop in front of my TV when I see MVP come out, or M to the VP, I believe is what we're calling him now.
Yeah.
Thought at some point it would happen, didn't see it coming.
Had no idea. Because usually, like, when these things, like, you know, when people cross over from WWE to AEW, there's, you know, there's a leak. Like everyone knows it's coming.
That was out of left field.
We had no idea. Maybe it was out there. I just didn't see it. But I mean, if anything, Kasey, like, and I'm not mad at this, right? Because this makes the Swerve Strickland story more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big Swerve fan. He just re-signed his contract and everything, so he's going to be a pillar and a cornerstone in AEW for a long time. But like, how do you know, add excitement to what he's already been through, right? Because you had the whole Hangman Adam Page thing, like that's done. Like, what do you do next with Swerve? And I think bringing MVP and trying to tease, like, will he stick with Nana and stay loyal, or will he go with MVP and maybe, like, you know, even up his career more? I mean, that's something I'll tune in and check out. So I'm not mad at it. Like, are we going to see the one thing though? Like, they have to establish now with Swerve Strickland, Kasey, is this guy going to be a face or a heel? Because through the whole Hangman Page saga, we saw a guy, like, first he was a face, then he was a heel, then he was a face again, and then he was a heel, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, his childhood home got burnt down, so I guess he's the face once again. But like, I just hope they stay consistent now going forward with Swerve. Like, you can't go back and forth. Like, let's just make him a heel or face, whatever you want, because I think you can do both. So do whatever you want to do there, and then just, like, let's keep him there and see what he can do. And it looks like he's going to be going heel with obviously MVP.
Yeah. I will say, you know what my first thought was when I saw MVP? I didn't originally think MVP managing Swerve. I thought Bobby Lashley was coming any second.
Oh, dang.
And I thought it was
I didn't think about that.
I thought we were going to start a setup for Bobby Lashley Swerve Strickland, which would be kind of sick. Would be,
well, I mean, I'm not sure like what Bobby Lashley's contract is, but who knows? Maybe that they bring Bobby over too, and all of a sudden you got a new stable with Swerve Strickland and Bobby Lashley. Like I wouldn't be mad at that. I think you could make some money there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That was my first thought. Obviously, MVP just talks his talk and is now all elite, so shout out to him for that. We will see where it goes from there. And then Jon Moxley, Darby Allin closes it out. Jon Moxley gets the win. Your thoughts on the match overall?
Brutal, violent, Darby bleeding. I mean, pretty, it's your essential Jon Moxley match. And it kind of ended how we all thought it was going to end, right? Like you're not going to make Moxley look weak now. Like you have to. And thankfully, Darby, who has all the craziest bumps and spots, didn't kill himself, so that's good. Seems to be halfway healthy. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it was an okay finish to a pretty solid night of wrestling. I wasn't mad at it, and yeah, now it's going to advance the storyline with Mox too to see what happens with Bryan Danielson. That'll be interesting. Wheeler Yuta obviously on team Bryan Danielson as well, and yeah, this was the one thing, and I was going to bring this up. And I'm glad you have the picture. I love how we're always on the same page, Kasey, in terms of like what we thought. This was just okay.
It wasn't as serious as the other one. When they tried to kill Brian, this one did not deliver what that one did.
No, for sure. My only thing is like this reminds me of like siblings going at it, like when they're kids in the room and like one's choking and one like I don't know.
Yeah.
It just I was all set with this. It was just okay. If you want to have Bryan Danielson come in and choke out Moxley, cool. But then to have Maria Shafir, who is very, and with all due respect for her, is very intimidating with the eye makeup and everything in the all black. Mm-hmm. And by the way, a fun fact about her: she called. Was it my last one? Yeah, she called my last fight in Florida that I had on the regional scene.
Oh, really?
She was one of the commentators. Yeah. Huh. And a fun fact about that is I made her say "Oh my Lanta" because I ended up dropping my opponent and then I kept like hitting him and the ref wasn't stopping it, and then all of a sudden Rhea Shafir goes "Oh my Lanta, stop the fight." So if I ever see her, I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, you remember when you called my fight and I made you say "Oh my Lanta"? Like you're welcome for that."
There you go. That's a moment right there.
Yeah.
This though, not so much of a moment. I will say, at first, after this, you get the idea, folks. But after this, the show ends, but you get Danielson getting beeped out again, which is like the third or two in the last 3 weeks where this dude's just straight dropping F-bombs on TV. At first, I thought it was cool, but then this one, I was like, it feels kind of forced now. Because like the first time it was shocking. Not the first.
Yeah,
the first time
recently. The all-around good guy, just like clean cut. Well, I say clean cut. He's got a big beard like I do, but
you just didn't expect it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just. But now it's like, okay, I get it. He's hyped up.
Yeah. So that was just okay. Overall, I thought it was a decent showcase. We'll see where they go from here with AEW, but. AEW to open up the show. How about that? We've got we got SmackDown and Raw that we have to get to. A lot of stuff. So we got to make sure we get to the main event of Raw. The last thing doesn't usually get in. So we're going to try to fly through this as much as we can.
Let's get it because we still have our predictions for Bad Blood too. If we get into that as well.
That's right.
So we have a lot to break down here. So let's speed through it if we can. So are we going SmackDown first?
We are starting with SmackDown, which starts with
up here quick.
Randy Orton. Calling out Cody Rhodes, said, "Hey, bro, what's going on?" Cody comes out and said, "This is what's going on." Kevin Owens not happy about it. Here comes Kevin Owens. Shocker of the decade. Here comes the Bloodline. Making a main event for SmackDown, which would be Randy and Kevin Owens against Solo and Jacob Fatu. The main part of this is Kevin Owens is not happy with Cody Rhodes. He said, "You've got your match to worry about. We're going to take care of this one." You see it multiple times throughout the night. There's another backstage moment where Kevin Owens is like, "I'm not talking to you right now." Obviously, we'll get to what happens in the main event, but this is a thing now, and they're continuing to push it. I don't really know how I feel about it. Randy Orton seems to be okay with it. Kevin Owens is definitely not. I don't really know, like, what... I do know what they're setting up. It's going to be Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes once he's done with that.
Eventually, like, we all see this happening here.
But what's the point? Why are you doing this now when you had the chance to do it a month ago?
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, and I know how you feel about the whole, because we always lead off with Cody and the Bloodline opening the show. I mean, they're the biggest draw. I get it. This was a lot of filler and not a lot of killer. I felt like you could have, like,
it was a long segment.
Too long, way too long. Yeah, for just kind of
with no break,
crowd reactions and acknowledging the crowd. And I mean, I will say this about Solo, and who's getting better and better and better. I did like how he started because he kept on getting wadded or whatever.
Yep.
So, he actually interacted with the crowd a little bit to even drop the boos more and get some more heat. So, like, that was kind of a veteran move on his part. Where were they at again? I forgot, because he said something.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, shut your mouths. Yeah, that's what it was. So, like, I enjoyed that. But, yeah, we've kind of, I mean, I'm trying to think back for how long this has kind of played out now with Kevin Owens, and
it goes back at least a month, and you didn't have him turn before, but you kind of started to show it. So you're at least a month in of some serious passive-aggressive attitude from Kevin Owens, not doing a whole lot about it. So,
I mean, is it to the point, Kasey, though, where you're setting it up so much where it's like when he does do it, it was not going to be shocking at all?
Correct.
Right, like if there was no tease of him, like, really, going to the dark side and everything, I'd be like, oh crap, now Kevin Owens is, but it's like we all see this happening. Like it's gonna eventually take form here. It's just you're kind of losing that shock value now. I feel like a little bit.
The only shock value will be if he costs him the title or something along those lines. Like
would be huge.
It would be massive. I mean, that would be shocking. He could come out and cost Roman and Cody at Bad Blood, but like. Are you shocked? Do you care? Like, is that a big enough moment? Like, it's more, that moment's more on Roman than Cody. Like, this is Roman's thing, and Cody's just involved. So, like, I don't think that's going to be it. So it's like, does he cost him the title somewhere down the line? I don't know, but now you're really long-term storytelling, because when is Cody defending his title again? We don't know. So, there's a lot going on there that's been going on, and I'm not really sure where you're going with it. I will say the segment was too long, and it's like a commercial debacle that they had multiple times in the last two shows, which we'll get to, but should have took a break, didn't. You do get a quick moment of Nia Jax choking out Tiffany Stratton.
Hey, and this has nothing to do with like me trying to like get on anything. I almost slid Tiffany Stratton a DM and just be like, hey, I'm sorry that happened to you. That looks horrible. You should like alert somebody. Like, dude. Like, I don't know what was it about that segment. But like, I'm like, oh damn, like, because we saw a change of behavior in Tiffany Stratton. Like and it was great acting nonetheless. But she looked genuinely shook.
Yes, she did.
Like you have like this, this cocky trust fund kid running around, acting all arrogant and everything, and then you just flip the script with a big old Nia Jax hand around the esophagus, if you will, and I'm just like. Dude, and like the reaction, I'm just like, oh wow, Nia, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. That was good. That was good storytelling. It was awkward. Like
it was weird.
It was weird. It was weird, but like the ending. Obviously, you see Tiffany stare down Nia when Nia walks out, so we know like eventually the cash in, hopefully. And when I say cash in, actually do cash it in and not fumble the bag, if you will.
They did. I think they brought it up again that episode too. By the way.
I'm telling you, man, they keep bringing it up, and I don't like it, Kasey.
Yeah, it worries me. I'm not happy. Yeah. I'm not happy. So that was.
I mean, do it with what would I say? If you're gonna fluff, if you're gonna drop the cash in, do it with the comedic genius of Chelsea Green. But we'll get into her later.
We will, because she had a role in this. That leads into Bayley Naomi for the chance to wrestle Nia Jax at Bad Blood for the title. First off, I got to give Naomi some love here, because it's absolutely criminal that they went to break on her entrance. This is after the match, so we'll tell you about it in a second. But dude, the Uno-inspired ring gear? Are you joking? And they break?
This is gonna be my big question to you. I have this in my notes. Like, what do you think about the Uno-inspired ring gear?
Dude, I thought it was sick.
Mad at it. Little draw 4 coming at you.
Dude, I thought it was sick, and I was infuriated when they come back from break and she's basically already in the ring. And I'm like, yo, this is the greatest ring gear I've ever seen.
I know. And she can't even showcase it.
And I'm like, meanwhile, we had to see 10 minutes of Kevin Owens and Randy Orton just looking at each other, and Cody. And I'm like, you could have had 3 breaks in that segment. You decide to break here. Naomi's in the it was just a debacle. So shout out to her because I loved the Uno inspired ring gear. I was a big fan of
it was cool, man. It was a nice change up. I mean, this is the thing. Like I do like because and I'm trying to think like Selena Vega does like a lot of cosplay like in terms of the anime stuff that I'm really into. But no, like the whole Naomi thing was a great change up. I didn't see it coming, obviously, and who doesn't like Uno? Like everyone knows what Uno is, right? Like if you had any kind of childhood whatsoever, you grew up playing Uno, so we could all relate to it. I was a fan.
I was a fan as well. The match itself, I thought it was good. Again, like I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Like if you're wrestling with Naomi, you have to be fast, and that's why I didn't like when it was Nia Jax a couple weeks ago. Bayley obviously plays that role. Bayley can wrestle anybody, look good, make them look good. She's done that for years. Bayley ends up getting the win and being the one to go against Nia Jax at Bad Blood. So I guess they barely meets the qualifications of Bad Blood because I guess they don't like each other, but nobody really likes Nia Jax. So there's that. But again, we've talked about it. I don't know what you're accomplishing here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hope I'm right here. I feel like it's just filler. I feel like it's going to be filler for Tiffany to cash in, because there's Bad Blood. She got choked. Literally a big old catcher's mitt around her neck. Like it's time to cash in. Tiffany, go ahead and make yourself a star. I will say this about the Bayley and Naomi match quick. Like, I thought it was fine. I do like though how they have Bayley as her finisher now is the elbow drop. Because it's a little more believable when they had like the belly to belly, and keep in mind you're not going to belly to belly Nia Jax anytime soon, so smart. But but even if it's like a smaller girl like a Selena Vega, like it never really. I get the name and that's fine, but like it never really was a finisher to me. Like if you want to make it a setup, that's cool, but like I never really bought just a belly to belly, suplex as a finisher. So I do like the elbow drop. I mean, we've seen this story before at WrestleMania with Bayley and Nia, but once again, I just hope that we get some sort of interference or some sort of Tiffany Stratton cashing in.
Yeah, I agree with that. Naomi and Bayley still friends after. That's what the picture was from that I was
showing
you.
We think, but she kind of felt a certain type of way leaving. So maybe Naomi costs Bayley at Bad Blood. Hey, maybe there's some Bad Blood there, Kasey, we didn't see.
Maybe. And the good news is after that exchange between Bayley and Naomi, Tiffany Stratton comes in, fully breathing and surviving the choke, so that's cool. And it sounds like we're going to get Naomi, Tiffany Stratton on Friday, which is dope because those are two people that can wrestle. Like, finally, Tiffany Stratton's going to come to work and actually work, which is cool.
Yeah.
And Naomi's going to be great.
No, it should be a great match, and I'm sure we're going to see the world's most beautiful. What is it? The
prettiest moonsault.
The prettiest moonsault. Thank you very much, Kasey. So once again, it's always good to see Tiffany Stratton in the ring. She's got the skills, so definitely showcase her now, WWE, and it's not have her keep getting choked like a battered woman. Like we don't need to see that anymore. That was
not good.
That was rough, Kasey.
It was
I was waiting for. I was waiting for. You remember, like you grew up watching. Like I know you're a little younger than I am, but you grew up like watching like Family Matters and stuff. Yeah,
sure.
Or not?
Yeah.
When it was like the serious scenes, like it's like a family funny show, comedy. But then every once in a while, there's like the serious scene where like where the parents find drugs or something in the room. It's like bam, 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 bam. And it's like the music.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the music to take over when Nia Jax put her big old mitt on Tiffany Stratton's neck. It's just like. And then they just kind of cut to black.
That would have been nuts.
Oh, come on. Let's go, WWE. Hey, come on, Triple H.
Triple H, what are we doing? I'll tell you what Triple H is doing. He's too busy doing Carmelo Hayes Andrade 7, which is what we're going to get. Before the match, Carmelo Hayes just has had enough of the LA Knight experience, just totally shoved him over some boxes and such. And then you get the match. I mean, they've done it 6 times. I don't really know what else to say. The boys are just incredible at what they do.
Can I speak candidly here? And once again, the showcase, the counter, I think it was going to be, I don't even know what Andrade was going for, but the counter off the top rope. I think it was maybe a Spanish fly he was going. I don't know what it was going to be, but the counter off the top rope for Carmelo was kind of like a cut or whatever, was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And once again, a great match. And I'm going to be honest. Shout out to WWE for making me not want to see LA Knight in that moment, because I didn't want to see the match get broken up. Like I wanted to see it finish, 100%. And then it kind of cheapened it a little bit with LA Knight there. And I'm a big LA Knight fan, this, but I was just like, man, let these two guys cook, because it's like the 10th time they've wrestled, but every single time it's been a banger.
So good. I feel like somehow it keeps getting better. Like it's crazy that you can keep doing this, and like we all know what we're gonna see, but everybody's like all in. Like that's how good it's been. I keep it going and somehow get to WrestleMania with this. That's still my goal, that you can just keep this going. So we'll look for 7, because Carmelo Hayes, I believe, technically is the winner. So it's 3-all at this point in the match, and we will wait for Game 7 between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. But again, really holding down the wrestling part of the show, I would think. I guess technically also
here comes the comedy part.
Yeah, holding down the wrestling part. Everyone's favorite dumpster diver, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven grace us with their presence against Piper Niven against Meat Chin. I can tell you that Michael Cole was disgusted by the trash can that Chelsea Green brought out and whatever was in it. So
obviously didn't spray it down, was pretty smelly.
That's just absolutely foul. The match itself, questionable.
It got a little sloppy there with like the power bomb, crucifix, whatever you want to call it. Looked a little awkward. Kind of finished things off a little bit when it was for the 2 count. I will say, like, the whole pun thing that kept on going back and forth with Corey Graves and Michael Cole was interesting, I guess. Like, we're saving it for, Bad Blood. But, it's Bad Blood, right? They're going to have that match?
No, it's Friday.
Okay, so they're saving it for next Friday, they're saying. But I was going to unload on them now. So, like, that was kind of funny.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was, that was kind of like the star of the match.
That was the highlight.
The commentary, and then Chelsea Green obviously getting Michael Cole's face as well. Yeah, it was filler.
The gimmick really was more than the match. I mean, like,
I mean, listen, in terms of the outside the ring stuff with Chelsea Green, I mean, I almost had to call Dana White and say I won't be fighting because I have broken ribs from laughing so much. But nevertheless, I thought that was great. But the in-ring stuff, which was supposed to be the main focus, it was just okay.
It was just okay. And you had to get to the main event, a couple more backstage things, but you eventually get Solo and Jacob Fatu making their way to the ring. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. They're doing their thing a little bit. Jacob Fatu is just nasty with it. The point of the story. Solo is getting better. You said it a minute ago. You were talking about the mic work. I agree with the in-ring stuff too. Like, I think he's developing well. Obviously, you know what you're getting with the other two. But this thing concludes with Cody Rhodes, who Kevin Owens said, please don't get involved. Randy Orton said, hey, maybe get involved because we're outnumbered here. And Cody screws the whole thing up, and the boys take the L to the Bloodline.
Once again, setting up Kevin Owens being pissed and everything, but we didn't see him turn. To me, once again, and like, listen, Randy Orton's great. Kevin Owens is great. Like, I mean, great match. It was a good way to end it. I feel like I'm on repeat every single week with Jacob Fatu, dude, but dude's a stud. Dude is super skilled. And it's wild because, like, to me, Jacob Fatu, watching him and everything, I'm talking about not only the ring work, but also like the gimmick and the way he presents himself. It reminds me of like when I was a kid and like I grew up like watching kind of like Demolition would be a good one, or like the Road Warriors. I'm just like, wow, these guys are like just badasses, right? Like this had a look like, they're just over masculinity, just in your face. And Jacob Fatu has some of that, but then you see the in-ring work, and it's like, well, how can he? It's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's like he's the old school like meathead style, like look, promo style, everything like that. But then like the in-ring, it's like he's like Will Ospreay incarnated. Sometimes it looks like with some of the things that he can do. It's wild, dude. Super talented individual.
Yes, he is a super talented individual, and you would believe that it'll be on Showcase at Bad Blood. Obviously with Roman and Cody. So he's been electric since he's been there. They get the win, they close out the show. Not a lot to look forward to on SmackDown. Once you got to, keep telling these stories, I guess, but really this week, I hate to say it, but the headliner is the damn dumpster match.
No, and as it should be. And hopefully it's gonna get the Iron Woman treatment and be an hour long. It should be. It's going to make it an hour long, Kasey. Like, MJF style, let's go and make it an hour long. Let's go ahead and showcase who Chelsea Green is. Let's go ahead and show why Chelsea Green should have got the Money in the Bank briefcase. And let's go ahead and boost these ratings to unseen heights on the USA Network.
No. Let's not do
Casey
that.
would rather see Tiffany Stratton take another just big old paw.
Basically.
Man, dude, I mean, I'm gonna say it one more time. That didn't have to. I feel like that just didn't. I can't stop.
You're distraught over what happened,
dude. I'm shook up about it because like it almost seemed like it was a shoot, and like Tiffany Stratton wasn't expecting Nia Jax to do that.
Yeah,
because like she was quivering, dude.
She wasn't thrilled.
No,
it was a heck of, it was a wild debacle on SmackDown. We go to Raw, which this wasn't a debacle. Cool way to start the show. Jey Uso pumping up his kid was in the opening shot, which was dope.
That was cool.
Comes down to the ring, talking his talk.
Crowd loves him, man. It's crazy.
Loves him.
He's got the crowd in the palm of his hand. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, wasn't thrilled about how they executed the Braun Breaker part of the story after Jey Uso's talking his stuff. Braun Breaker
that kind of fell flat.
Yeah, music hits, here he comes. I'm like, he's gonna get speared, and the first thing Braun Breaker says is, "I'm not gonna spear you. I'm not here to fight. I just want to shake your hand." And I was like,
I'm like, and here comes the spear. Like he's gonna set him up, and all right, yeah, we had some bad blood.
Turn around and walked away.
No, and like the whole like Jey going, and I thought that Jey was gonna like call him back and like try to coax the fight out of him, but then Jey goes, and I forgot where they were again, but like we have some dogs out here, and like they try to get like the crowd to do the dog chants, which some of them did, but yeah, it was. I think everyone's expecting, along with you and me, Kasey, the same thing, where Braun was going to come in and cause chaos, right? Like, it was a decent promo from Jey talking about his mom and everything, which was kind of weird, though, with the whole yeet chant, whatever. Like, that was, but whatever. So, I'm okay, like, you talk about your family, wholesome, and all of a sudden, here comes Braun Breaker. That's okay, we see where this is going, and it's like, no, it was a mutual admiration, which was... I felt like it was a little out of context for Braun Breaker's character.
Agreed.
But then we see it later on where, he's talking to Gunther, and it's like, okay, well, maybe he's got his eye set on that. You know how we feel about that, where it's like, man, both those guys are absolute studs. Like, why would you want to showcase any of those guys losing? Yeah. But that's going to be hopefully much later down the line. Yeah,
I would agree. I was fine with Jey Uso doing his thing. The Braun Breaker part was weird, but whatever. You get through it. You know what they were trying to do. We move on. Xavier Woods, first match of the night against Rey Mysterio. Xavier Woods, dude, what a debacle. What's going on with this guy? Match was fine. Again, Rey Mysterio is going to make anybody look good. But the lead up to the finish, like, I don't know what was supposed to happen, but the move right before he gets the mask off definitely looked like it was in super slow-mo, and that they missed it, and it did not look good. So I was like, what is happening here? And I feel like Joe Tessitore, if you watch the callback, was kind of like, what's kning here? Because he knew what was supposed to happen. He's like, is the mask off? I was like, it was like a weird kind of thing how that happened,
and Joe's just disgusted, obviously.
Joe, Wade Barrett.
He rips the mask off. Yeah,
it's just. That part fell a little flat, and then, of course, Xavier Woods pins him, gets the win. But the whole lead up to the mask coming off was questionable. I will say this. I didn't see mask coming off spot, like, for that.
No, and, like, this is, I mean, I have no idea what's going to do with the New Day and Xavier Woods. Like, all right, so it's starting to look like now, like, Xavier Woods means well. At least he says that he means well, but then he keeps making these mistakes, and they keep, tarnishing his image, because we saw this later with Kofi as well. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, and you're right about Rey Mysterio, Kasey. Like, it's amazing for a guy who's been doing it as long as Rey has. Like, he still has it, man. It's wild.
Oh yeah.
And it's still cool to see, like, every kid that wears the mask go. When he's walking to ringside, he does the headbutt thing, and I mean, I almost want to take my son to a show just so I can say, like, and, like, my son's not a Rey Mysterio fan. I'm like, dude, just put this mask on, please, so we can go, like, headbutt you one time, so I can, like, take a picture. So I mean, it's so cool that he's, he has the kids and, like, the younger generation still doing it, because, dude, I was a kid watching Rey Mysterio Jr. So it's wild how the guy's at such a high level still. But yeah, with Xavier Woods, they're teasing something. Will it be a full heel turn on, like, the eve of the New Day reunion or whatever, like the celebration? Maybe, but that's all I got for that.
Though?
I know.
That's like, I don't know.
I mean, listen, I think people will care, Kasey, and maybe they're setting this up. If they do the celebration and not Kofi, but who I just talked about? Oh, Xavier Woods. Ends up turning with Big E and Kofi in the ring. Then that's like, okay, that's the story. If
correct.
he turns on Big E and goes after him, Big E's like, hey, it's a new day and everything, and all of a sudden here comes Xavier Woods. They're like, yeah, then maybe you got a story there. Then maybe Xavier could be a singles guy. So
yeah, we'll see. Questionable at the least, at the best, I should say. And then what everyone was asking for had been 40 minutes. We hadn't seen the Pure Fusion Collective, so
change it.
We had to get some backstage action of them intimidating this poor girl. So shout out to them. They go to break and come back, and we're
just
going
bullying her.
We're going right to the match.
Should have grabbed her by the neck though. Come on, Sonya.
They said, Sonya said, you have no friends. Nobody likes you. You can't sit with us, Mean Girl style. And then let's go to the ring, and we're going to beat the heck out of you. And Zoe Stark, who, again, still a big fan of, wish we could get her out of the Pure Fusion Collective, to be honest with you.
Change it? Yep.
Yes, definitely got to change it. She technically gets the win over Valkyria. But the real part of this, the match was fine. It's whatever. Pure Fusion Collective, sure.
Change it.
Yeah. The part of this that was actually exciting was the return of Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Yep. And the spot was, you didn't like the spot?
I mean, okay, I didn't mind the spot, but nothing against Caden Carter and Katana Chance, but they're tiny. And it's weird to see them against these brawlers in the Pure Fusion Collective change it. I'm just going to start trademarking that, just change it. But it's weird to see him. I don't know, man. It was good to see him back and everything. And she's rocking the, I guess you could call it the Rip Hamilton mask. If you're a basketball fan or whoever. Yeah, I mean that's who I identify with that mask and everything's Rip Hamilton. Shout out to the Pistons. But yeah, I mean it was fine. It was a good welcome back. I will say one thing though I picked up from the promo backstage. I thought it was cool that the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler with the cards shuffling them.
Oh, true.
Thought it looked really badass. The ultimate boomer bust type of promo though, because if she
drops them,
shuffled them and dropped a couple, how do you
you don't recover?
And listen, dude, we've all been there. We've all played poker. We've all played cards. There's nothing more, ditzy or pansy than shuffling some cards and then dropping a couple of them. It's the ultimate oh dude, you dork. So I'm
boomer
glad
bust
that.
Spot.
Yeah, I'm glad that Baszler was able to pull through, and she looked pretty cool shuffling cards.
Yeah, it was. It worked out. The whole thing was just whatever. But I thought the best part was at the end when they return and kind of hit that. I thought it looked cool. We'll see where they go from there with those two, but I guess just more humans in the women's tag team division that you can put against the Pure Fusion Collective. Kofi Kingston was supposed to get an Intercontinental Championship spot. He gives it to Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't do. So, obviously there's more there that we'll have to get into next week, but something's bound to happen. Mm-hmm. Adam Pearce said we need every security guard we can get, and we need them in Hell in a Cell, and we need them now, and we need to get Punk out here. Which, by the way, incredible ring announcement, little spot there for Adam Pearce. Thought he was spot on with both of them. Really just let it eat with the voice, so shout out to them for that. Yep. But Punk and Drew McIntyre inside the structure, telling each other that they suck, basically, is how that went.
Yeah, basically, would love to see Larry the Dog hanging up from above in that shark cage to really drive the point home that the stakes couldn't be higher. But nonetheless, though, think about this, Kasey. This has been a long time build up, right? We've been through a lot here with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, but I thought they captured the intensity pretty damn good.
I agree.
And that's what any good promo can do. It's you mix real life emotion with the script. And I thought CM Punk did that. And I thought Drew McIntyre did that as well. So it was kind of a good go home moment to get us amped up for Bad Blood. I enjoyed it.
Their whole story has been executed well. I think we actually do believe this time that this will be it between these two. For now.
Which is wild. And we'll do our predictions here in 5 minutes. I'm really curious. I mean, we think CM Punk, right? Just because it all started with the bracelet and everything, but
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I really
feel like both guys can't really afford to lose. I don't know. I almost feel like Drew McIntyre can't afford to lose more than CM Punk.
McIntyre always loses, I feel like.
Yeah.
He always is the one that gets screwed. So I think McIntyre could be the one that wins here. We'll get to that in a second. Just to let you know, R-Truth survived, by the way. He shows up back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's back.
So good for R-Truth.
Only to get backstabbed in a little bit, yeah.
He has an appearance later on. Judgment Day, same old with the LWO. Here's what was terrible about this. The match itself was fine. You go to break, and you come back from break, and they're still there. And then you do the whole second segment. Like, that's what I'm saying. Back to SmackDown, like a lot of questionable breaks, but when they come back from break and I see these idiots just standing here still, I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
And then obviously Damian Priest and Rhea and the whole debacle. Dom ends up in the shark cage. But at the end of the day, the
Wade Barrett having the Goo Goo Gaga eyes for Liv Morgan is just is one of the gifts that keeps on giving, and Rhea Ripley's just a big old nasty harlot or whatever he's done.
Yep.
Dude, and this is the thing, you've been on this bandwagon more than I have, but Wade Barrett's like,
he's good. Right?
He's good. And it's funny because like in the past when you've hyped him up, like, yeah, he's fine, like he's okay. But like the more and more like I listen to him, especially with Testator now too, it's like Wade Barrett is a kind of a national treasure. I appreciate it.
Him and Testator are unbelievable together. Like I love it. I think it's a home run. Like they killed him.
I mean, sorry, Pat McAfee. I don't know where you're gonna fit in this equation, man, but like
you're absolutely
it's good. It's really good, Kasey.
It is good. You mentioned it. Xavier Woods cost Kofi Kingston a match with Chad Gable. Good to see Gable and the boys survive the Wyatt Six. That story's apparently over, which thank you.
Well, and they teased another. They're moving on to somebody else, and it makes you wonder: is it going to be Xavier Woods they're moving on to? Because the whole, it's like you turn your, it's more of like you turn your back on some, So I don't know. Like time will tell. I wonder if it's Xavier Woods, but it doesn't make much sense because you're just going to target one guy, or do you target the Judgment Day? Time will tell. I thought it was going to be Braun Strowman, spoiler, in the main event, but that was a different whole set of thing right there, so I was wrong about that. But please continue, Kasey.
Sami Zayn gets his match with Gunther, which I don't love.
Listen. It's been a giant buildup, and I liked how they played the father angle a little bit, but I didn't like the execution.
Agreed.
Of it. It would have been one thing if like Sami Zayn kept on kind of poking and prodding about Gunther's father, and all of a sudden we see like, oh wow, like this stoic dude actually like has feelings, and like I think the crowd could have related a little bit to that. And then like Gunther just goes absolutely ballistic and beats the crap out of Sami Zayn, and then he's like, "You got your match." That's kind of what happened, but I just felt like they could have added so much more emotion. Like, listen, we come off the promo with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, which is based in all emotion and Bad Blood, and then we get the Sami Zayn and Gunther one, which has been a big buildup in itself, but I felt like it was lacking a little bit of emotion. Yeah,
I agree. I think you could have done without it. I didn't think you had to do it, but apparently you are going to do it. Shout out Sami Zayn, but I didn't love the execution how you did it. I thought it was a better story if he didn't give him the match. I understand what you did, but I don't necessarily love why you did it. Why did the Miz turn on R-Truth? Why?
The whole Karrion, dude. This is what is Karrion Kross's thing now? Because like if you noticed when Kofi gave Xavier,
he's just standing back there.
He's just standing there, just like
bro just wants to be on TV.
Like, I don't know, man.
He says you're not going to Apollo Crews me. If I'm showing up to work, I'm getting on TV. By the way, Apollo Crews, most dangerous man in the world, did not get a match this week on SmackDown because they
won't save him, man. So save him for the big money events now. Like the guy's built up a pretty good resume.
I mean, he's unbeatable.
Is Beachy okay? Do we know what happened to him either? Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, but Miz is a better heel. I just don't know what you're accomplishing. Like I don't know who he's beefing with.
Agreed. Like you're not gonna put him in the Final Testament. I don't know. No. Like I guess Miz R-Truth. I don't know, man. I enjoyed, like, from the comedy angle, once again, I enjoyed the Awesome Truth. So it's kind of sad to see them break up. Honestly.
I agree. I will say this. The people love R-Truth. Like, it's not Jey Uso hype, but people love R-Truth. I love R-Truth.
You're not wrong. It's almost like, I feel like it could be about, like, when Kofi got his title run. I wonder if they're going to do something with R-Truth eventually. Because, I mean, the guy has paid his dues, man. Like, he's been doing it for a while. And, like, some of the best comedy moments have come. Too. Yeah, I know. Always a punching bag. I mean, I almost call him like the male Chelsea Green, if you will. So we'll see.
Wow. Such a
foul.
foul.
Little foul. Yeah,
Holy
I
cow.
got you.
Was this the greatest match of all time?
Oh my God, Kasey. Oh, I mean, this had everything. It had everything, man. It had high intensity spots. It had things getting demolished. It had tables. This had Braun freaking Strowman from the top rope. Yeah, I'll say it again. Braun Strowman from the top rope. And it's one thing. Okay, Jacob Fatsu's big dude.
These are massive.
You and I have both seen Braun Strowman in person.
Yep.
This isn't a camera gimmick of some guys appear bigger on TV than they do in real life. Braun Strowman's a big man. And the top rope spot was insane. Adam Pearce getting involved, losing all control as usual.
Right?
Yep, it was good.
Dumb
and
idiot.
then the grand finale, the coup de grace, if you will, is the ring breaking apart. Who's gonna get to their feet? I thought Braun Strowman was gonna die, and the Wyatt family were gonna come out.
That's right.
Yikes! Not even close, because we see Seth Rollins come by and curb stomp Bronson Reed into the stairs. Great match.
Unbelievable, fantastic match. I do want to turn your attention, though, to Seth Rollins, who is back. Just to highlight a couple of days for Seth Rollins. This was Sunday Night Football pregame. The Ravens posted this. This is some random dude trying to shoot his shot with Angel Reese. Definitely not going to connect. Just not going to happen.
Sorry about it.
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, is that Seth freaking Rollins in the background wearing the whatever that suit is?
He's at every single football game now.
He's everywhere. He's like
he's falling out of the Colt stands, getting escorted out. I don't know maybe this is a new. I don't know what this is, Kasey. I really don't.
It's wild. So this is where he is Sunday night. I'm thinking, okay, there's no scenario where I'm seeing Seth Rollins come back on Monday night. It's like, you're dead, Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
R-Truth and Seth too, back on the same night.
It's one. How do you? I was going to ask you this question, Kasey, and we'll get to the Bad Blood real quick. They teased in SmackDown AJ Styles is coming back next week. Obviously, we see Seth Rollins. We figured he's coming back. Are you a fan of when we see these guys out in public, or they do the teaser we'll return next week, or wouldn't you rather just have them be a surprise where wow, this guy just showed up out of nowhere? Now it's a big thing. I
like the surprise. I definitely like the surprise better.
Same.
Especially with Seth. I think it was executed perfectly. The one thing about Seth is, granted, we didn't know he was alive for a minute after the internal bleeding, but we saw him at the Colts game in public, and then he didn't come back. So when I saw the Ravens thing, I did not think in a million years he was coming back.
That's true. Yeah. So see the Colts game, I thought, okay, he's coming back, obviously, and then he didn't. Okay, they kind of made us forget a little bit, so that was smart booking on Triple H's part.
And then I think with AJ Styles, though, what could AJ Styles do that would shock you? A return?
I don't know, man.
There's no story built in. I think it's better for him to come out and them start a story because someone's going to come and, make him mad. I don't know what AJ Styles is doing for me at this point. We'll see. But
yeah, I'm not going to count him out, man. He's always been a good performer, so we'll see where they go with it. But I have no idea because they're going to do it with Cody again. So I don't know. We'll see.
We've got 90 seconds.
Real quick. I have the card here, Kasey, real quick. Your predictions. Did Damian Priest, Finn Balor to kick off Bad Blood, at least as of now?
The Judgment Day's got to win something. So give me Finn Balor.
Okay, I'm taking Damian Priest. I think you have to get retribution for what you had to go through. Give me Damian Priest. Nia Jax Bailey.
Tiffany Stratton. She's cashing in.
Same. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley.
It's got to be Rhea Ripley.
You think so?
Dude, you can't
I know.
It's either got to be the most disgusting cheap shot of all time that you take it off of Rhea because
which Joe Tessitore might have a heart attack if that happens.
Oh, dude, he won't make it out of the arena. But you got to do something where you separate these two because Rhea Ripley's got to beef with somebody else. I just don't know who. Just
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre.
I'm going Drew. I really am.
Drew's got to win one. I have to go CM Punk. It started with the bracelet. It's got to end with the bracelet.
Drew's got to win something.
He's choking on the beads, as I was saying. And last but not least, we got Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns taking on the Bloodline. Who you got? It's got to be the Bloodline, right?
Yeah, it does. But there has to be something. Something has to happen between Cody and Roman, I think. I don't think there's a scenario where these two are just wrestling a match and like.
Do you think Owens gets involved here? Bad blood.
Somehow, some way. I do.
In a bad way, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Do you think we see Paul Heyman and then we'll head out?
I hope so. We need to see Paul Heyman.
I hope so too, but maybe you just save it for a random Friday night. We'll see.
I hope you don't do that. Paul Heyman, we need you back. ASA.
We miss you, man.
That'll do it for the Scrap House on a Wednesday. We'll do it again. Bad Blood coming up this weekend. The boys will hold it down. Dumpster match with Chelsea Green. I know you're excited for, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that when the time comes.
Let's go, man.
All right. See ya.
Later.